Hey everyone. I just want to make sure, can everyone hear me? Can anyone just say in the chat that you can hear me? Awesome. Okay. Well, welcome to the stream. This is my first time ever streaming, so I'm like a little bit nervous about it, but I'm sure it'll be fine, right? So what I want to do first is just say welcome to Overdrive. So Overdrive is something that is really, really important to me. So I have been playing Sphere style shards for since I was like 13 years old, and this is the game that I grew up and loved playing. And I started playing when I was about like 13 or 14. I can't remember. It was like the eighth grade, and then I played for about 4 years. Took a break for, but like I think it was like 15 years, and then I came back in about 2018, and fell back in love with UO. Like when I came back and started playing UO again, I got like really like emotional hearing like the sounds and everything and all the nostalgia bombs that got hit with me. And so I played a shard, and that shard closed. And then I played a shard called UO Infinity, and that was ran by Tony. And so Tony is, I've known Tony forever, and back in the days of Tar, and he approached me about UO Overdrive and to manage the server. And so I guess I wanted to first give you my story and then kind of introduce everyone. So on the stream right now, we have Shane, who is I guess maybe I'll let y'all introduce yourself. There's Shane and Tony. So Shane, why don't you go ahead and just introduce yourself, tell everyone what you do.
Yeah, I'm Shane. I'm the guy that came up with the UO Forever originally back in 2013. Um, and yeah, I think a lot of people, I don't know, there's a lot of information about me out there, but yeah, it's been 9 years, I guess, a little over 9 years now of UO Forever, and yeah, that's who I am. I kind
It's
of I do all the marketing. I do actually, Tito's been amazing at helping marketing the Overdrive here, but yeah.
So that is a huge accomplishment, just running a shard for 9 years. So I have been like running this little tiny baby sphere like project, and the amount of questions and things I get is just it's incredible. And like so I can't
Yeah,
imagine like doing
yeah.
like
Over
what you
that
do.
over that time, we've had like a lot of like a lot of trials and tribulations, and a lot of like a lot of success too. We've been on the front page of Reddit, front page of PC Gamer Magazine, front page of Twitch. We've had Raf Coster, Richard Garriott. We've had Star Long on the game, and the original creators of actual Ultima Online and the developers, and we've had them a couple times, and it's been really good. We got a lot of questions asked and answered, and yeah.
So how many players do you think have come through like the UO Forever door? Like I mean it has to be like tens of thousands
Tens,
like.
100, easy, like if not 100,000.
And so
I would
like
say tens of thousands for sure.
I think the people who have played Sphere Shards can't comprehend those numbers because, I mean, personally, I've only played like American servers. So American servers, I think like the largest populated server I've ever been on is like 400 players or something like that. And that's like peak prime. And so I think, hopefully, if things go as planned, we will be on a shard finally that has just a super super high population. That's just something that not a lot of people are used to.
It's such a niche thing, like with Sphere, right? And I used to, like I told you, like I used to play Sphere back in the day. It was one of the first emulators I played after quitting OSI, way back when I was a young kid, and I went right to Sphere. And yeah, so I think people way back then that just didn't want to play OSI, or they couldn't actually, back then I couldn't afford it. My mom couldn't afford it for me. And so I had to go play Sphere. I had to find like, player, free servers. And, just, I remember playing Sphere way back then. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's different, but it's a lot of fun.
And so I think a lot of people who are playing Overdrive are going to be taken back a little bit because it's not what we're used to. There's a lot of mechanics and things that are in professional big shards that we're just not used to. And I think if I could give anyone some advice, I would say take the new mechanics and sit on them and see why they're better, because they're in the game with a successful shard like UO Forever for a reason. So just because something's a little different than what you're used to, don't take that as, oh, this needs to be changed. Message me. It's fine if you message me. That's fine. But I'm just saying, let it sit, let it marinate, kind of take it in for a little bit before you jump the gun. So now I want to pass it over.
If you don't mind here,
Sure.
I'd like to jump in there. Tony here. You guys might know me as Tally, but that sentiment that Teto just talked about, I can 100% agree with. I mean, for myself, like I've run Sphere shards, as you know, Coldfire, Atlantis. We played all of these Santiago shards, and I was diehard Sphere. And back when we launched Infinity was my first, dipping my toes in Run UO style shards.
I turned the music down a little bit too.
Test. Am I getting louder for you, Tito? Okay.
I believe the chat.
Yeah. So I mean, I was diehard Sphere. I used to only like the 2.0.3 client, and for a long time that was my bread and butter there. But with Infinity, I dipped my toes in Run UO, and it is the potential for it is just amazing compared to what Sphere was. And I mean, I even had the source code for Sphere, so I could do things that nobody else could do. But just the way that Run UO is set up, it's 1,000 times better, and the potential for it is huge. So now Infinity was a good proof of concept. It had a ton of potential too, but I didn't know anything about any of the OSI systems. I was still coming from a Santiago mindset where, I disabled basically everything starting with Run UO. And when I joined UO Forever, the team on UO Forever here, I got my first, real look at these different systems and why they work. And I can 100% say that, a lot of some of the risk that Santiago had, like, you're working for years and you got your taming add-ons and then all in an instant they're gone. That's a little bit toned down. And I mean, to me, that kind of shows why they've kept so many people for so long. And there's a ton of good things about OSI that's just keeping the economy going. Like UO Forever has lasted for 9 years and it's still going strong. So your sentiment about yeah, exactly. Sorry, I'm just reading chat here. Losing 5 million in add-ons was a good day to quit. And yeah, I mean that happened to basically all of us. I mean, it's kind of a reality with Sphere, but there are a little bit of things that are easier on OSI style. But it's
kind of yeah, and it also, like with Tony's know-how, of Sphere, and also Tito's, and then you bring it into UO Forever and you kind of mix the two. It kind of seems like it was just certain things that Sphere was always missing with a lot of those servers, and that's why they never lasted, stuff like that, right? And I think that's why we assure that this will, I think it'll last. Like, this is not this is going to be like a home base for all those Sphere players that were always just playing, going from server to server to server, and they launch and they shut down, and you get so upset, or you donate to a server and then they just shut down and stuff like that. Yeah, that bullshit's over with now. Like,
exactly.
It's yeah.
This is your forever home now. It's worth the investment.
And what's really interesting is, I think that's a really important thing, is that we're building something here that's going to last. This is a professionally ran shard, and it has everything you could ask for longevity in terms of content, hopefully player base. It has everything that we've always wanted. And so I kind of want to segue into, this is interesting because there's two groups of people who are going to experience new things. So you have the Sphere people who are going to experience content like they've never seen before, and you're going to have precast people or frozen cast people. Don't take that term wrong. That's just how, like, Sphere people, that is what we call people who play like OSI and other servers. We call them precasters, or we call them frozen casters. Frozen casters or precasters are going to experience the awesome PvP style of Sphere. I haven't really dove into precast style fighting, but I can assure you, if you buy into it and learn it, you will love it. If you like fast-paced, high-octane, like adrenaline-fueled PvP, Sphere is going to be for you. I would just give it a shot. Try it out. You can go to our dueling pits and do it for free. You don't even have to macro character. You really, really are missing out on something really special. And that's kind of my big pitch to the precast people. You just got to try it out. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's one thing that we all discussed before we even started this. And I think, there's a lot of PvPers out there today, like even on all the other servers, that, they want this on the edge of your seat PvP. And honestly, this is that PvP. I've PvP'd this before, or Sphere kind of PvP, and it's constant because you can't, there's no stopping. It's not slow. It's very fast paced, and that's all it's about. And that's why, we call it Overdrive.
Yeah. And so let's show y'all some. So Tony, let's demonstrate what Sphere style looks like. Can you add like a couple walls, like 3 walls? So before I show you, Sphere PvP is going to be primarily magery focused. Melee is going to be very important to us, and I'll talk about melee a little bit more, but this section what I'm going to talk about is PvP. And so it is going to be magery focused. So what you're going to be focusing on when you're Sphere PvPing is your timings for your spells, and then also you're going to be focusing on line of sight. Now, the biggest difference for line of sight than what you're used to on precasting is when you can't walk through something, you don't have line of sight. So even if you can look over, like I believe on UO Forever, if you can look over something like a table or a bed or something, you still have line of sight. That's not how it works on Sphere. If you can't walk through it, you don't have line of sight. And so this is kind of a good example. Tony set up a small fence, a hop off, and I'm gonna. And please don't judge me for this. I'm really nervous streaming. This is my first time I've ever fought someone on stream. So,
I might have a chance to win. I haven't since probably 10 years now.
So, Tony, turn off your staff so you don't fizzle. Okay, so we're gonna do a quick duel. I'm gonna show you how Sphere style, what it looks like. I'm not gonna use melee right now. I'm just gonna show you kind of what the major will look like. All right, so let me pull my health bar up, and here we go. Let's give you a little demonstration. Oh, there's a world save. Ooh.
You can see how they're always using the wall.
Ooh, okay, that's a good demonstration.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it was my macros weren't set. My macros weren't set, guys.
Fucking noob. Just kidding.
So
yeah, he's blaming it on lag.
Yeah, it was lag. It was lag. I think my macro. I'll be honest. I think my greater heal potion wasn't set right. Anyways, okay, so let me walk you through what you just saw after I re-equip my stuff.
So we added that double click feature. Can you do that right out of the corpse there?
No. There we go.
I don't think so. It's either got to be on the ground or
So what you saw there was majory style PvP, and it was not my greatest performance. I'm kind of embarrassed, but that's okay. Let me walk you through the different things that it comes with Sphere PvP after I Leave my body. Okay, so you might have saw that there's a few new items that you might be used to. So we have mana pots on Sphere style. Greater manas are going to give you about 75 mana. You don't ever stop and meditate during a fight. You basically have unlimited mana. And one thing I didn't show you is this cool thing that Tony got for us. So this is a cooldown gump. So let me show you using a mana. And you can see that there's a cooldown gump that will be showing, that'll be up here, that'll give you good for timing. So when you use a potion, you have a 14-second cooldown with it. Now, the other item that is new is going to be Flame Strike Scrolls. Flame Strike Scrolls are very popular in Sphere because they give about half the mana, take about half the mana. So they're very popular to use. But what you saw Tony and I use a lot were invisibility potions. So what it does is you drink the invisibility potion, you instantly become invisible. And that way you can do like game-changing type plays. So invisibility potions are something where it is easy to use but hard to master. So let's see here. Oh, who's this? Oh, we got someone in the stream. That's okay. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to show y'all about is something that's really important to me is having updated spells. Sphere, if you're not used to, if you remember it, every single Sphere fight was a fizzle, poison, and then lightning, and then flame strike. So I wanted to change that. So I've updated a bunch of spells. I'll just kind of go through all of them with you. So fireball is now actually useful, and I can tweak these. It does 4 damage right here, but I can make it up to whatever amount it needs to be, and I can adjust that. Poison, I've updated the UI for it. So now it's actually a green sparkle. I have done with harm, I've done just a different visual notification. I want each spell to look unique. The only spells that are going to have the normal red sparkle you're used to are the first circle spells. All the first circle spells are going to have that sparkle, that red sparkle. The next one is going to be Paralyze. I gave it a gold sparkle. And then when someone is paralyzed, they turn gold as well. Mind Blast. Now this is a new one for everyone. Mind Blast is, I believe, on regular servers. It tells it does damage based on the difference between your stats, but on Sphere you don't have different stats. Everyone has 100, 100, 100, and the reason why this shows 91 right now is because I'm wearing armor. When you wear armor, your dexterity is lowered. But with Mind Blast, I just made it a regular damage spell. So it does 21 damage right now, and I updated the visual for it as well. Let's see what the next one is. Energy Bolt. Most people who have been in the Discord have seen Energy Bolt. I just updated the visual for it so it's more noticeable. If everyone remembers Energy Bolt, you never knew when you were hit by it. You just got chunked by it. And then the coolest spell that I think everyone's going to be doing is going to be Explosion. So Explosion is a delayed damage spell. So when you get hit by it, it takes 2.5 seconds for the damage to actually pop. So what you can do with this is chunk people. So let me do a demonstration. So I'll do Explosion, and then when Tony gets hit by it, now I cast Energy Bolt. I think Magic Resistant is critted on, but there was a Magic Resistant problem there, but it usually would do 30 damage and 30 damage, so that would have done 60. So anyways, Explosion and Energy Bolt are going to be really, really big. The next spell that I updated is Mana Vampire. So Mana Vampire was a useless spell on Sphere. I don't even know what it really did. I never cast it. So what I've done is I've updated the UI or the visual for it. It takes 75 mana from someone and it heals you 25. Now I can adjust these numbers however I want. I can do a lot of things with the spell. I just know that there is no 7th circle spell you usually use when you're PvPing other than Flame Strike, and I want to bring that in. I want other spells to be higher level. I do have an 8th eighth circle spell in mind that I might add, but there's so much new stuff on Overdrive that I want to let it kind of marinate for a little bit so people aren't overwhelmed and it kind of feels like a completely new game. So I will be adding something later on, but for now, those are all the new spells and all the visual updates for it. And I'm pretty happy with it. I think that you will find it a much better experience. The thing about Sphere style PvP is you're moving so fast. I feel strongly you need more visual notifications, especially because we're all like really old now. You need different visual notifications. So the next thing I want to talk about, and I know I'm talking a lot about PvP right now, but there's so much different to it. I want to emphasize that. So I won't go in the weeds on this. This is something new. The biggest criticism I would say for Sphere style PvP is melee. So on Sphere, it is not instant hit. When you walk up to someone, you swing back and then you strike. I've changed it to instant hit. So when you double click someone and you come within two tiles, you will instantly hit them.
It's one tile.
It's one tile, yeah. Now that might scare you. You may be like, that seems broken. It's not. Well, it might be. We'll find out. The good news is I can swap it back. But I don't think it is. The reason why it's not broken is because you can't combo it. Like, I can't cast lightning and then equip my weapon and then... my macro isn't working, but... You can't cast a spell, then equip a weapon, and instantly do damage. What's the delay, Tony, when you equip your weapon?
I can't remember if it's like half the regular swing duration, but it's something that we can play with as well.
Yeah. It is going to be instant hit with bows, but like I said before, it's not like you equip a bow and then you automatically fire an arrow. There's going to be a delay with it. There is some reaction you can have with it. Now, and I can change, I think Tony can separate archery off, like if it is a big issue. I really feel strongly that having this instant hit is going to make melee much more popular in PvP. And if you think about it, the only reason why it's what people already wanted to do with Sphere style. What you did is you loaded up a shot and you wanted an instant hit ready. And so I feel like this is just making it updating the way that we have been playing already. No, it's not for the first swing. It's for every swing. So let me show you. So I missed there. Now I'm going to take a step back. Come back in. So the way to think about it is your swing timer, I don't know what the actual delay is, but you swing every, like, I don't know, depending on the weapon, like every 2 or 3 seconds. And so it's the same delay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just like charging it up. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Be also interesting as we say that to have, how we have the counters for, the pots and stuff like that, maybe even a swing delay counter.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
The other thing that's going to make melee way more interesting on Overdrive is we have special moves. So there's special moves that certain weapons can do. So, and I'll just bring the weapons out to show you. It's hard for me to proc them because it's passively, but I can tell you what they do. So let me pull this up. So I'll pull up these weapons. So you have 3 special moves. You have a 2-handed mace move, you have a 2-handed spear move, and then you have a 2-handed axe move. The spear can paralyze. And what it does when it paralyzes you is it makes it so you can still cast, but you can't use any item. So one of the things that is annoying on Sphere is paralyze is kind of it's almost a useless spell 1v1, because what you can do on Sphere is you can use these explosion potions and you can magic arrow them, and so let me show you. You can magic arrow an explosion potion and you can get out of being paralyzed. That's how you escape being paralyzed. Or you can use a magic trap pouch, which is something new that Sphere players aren't used to. But anyways, the point is you can get out of being paralyzed fairly easy if you're 1v1. Well, if you have something where you can't use items or you can't cast on an X-Pot, that is where the spear is very valuable. So that is the spear special move. Say sphere, spear, special move 3 times. Okay, so the two-handed mace weapon is going to have, it's called a concussion, what is it? Not concussion blow. It is, it's a crushing blow. What it does is it does 150% damage, and I believe it lowers your armor. So it's just a really large, like, nuke hit. And then with axes, what they do is it's called a concussion blow, and it lowers your intelligence to 50. So I think each weapon has a lot of potential to doing some game-breaking things. Not game-breaking, I'm sorry. It has a lot of potential to be very powerful. Like, imagine if you only had 50 mana while you're fighting someone. That would be terrible. Or imagine you're getting spear hit. Those are that is how melee is going to be more involved in our fighting. And I want to emphasize that I will be on top of this. If it feels broken, I can work with it. We can adjust proc times. We can adjust swing rates. We can adjust lots of things. So as I said in the beginning, just take it in. Let's try it out. I think it's going to be great. So let's see here. That was a lot of talk about PvP. The last thing I'll say before I segue on is we have, if you're new to Sphere PvP, on our YouTube page, we have videos that I've done about, it's almost like 40 minutes of me explaining Sphere PvP in depth, teaching you line of sight, timings, how to use items properly, how to use doors. We didn't even go into how door combat, which is one of the biggest parts about Sphere, and due to time, I'm not going to go into that. But anyways, the point is, go to our YouTube channel, check out all of the different types of videos that we have. Tony, do you have anything you want to add to PvP right now?
Other than noting that, things are going to be changing on the fly here quite a bit, and we'll get to a balance where it's enjoyable. I mean, enjoyable for every style of PvP, I would say. But it might take us a little bit of playing around with the numbers to get to that point.
So PvP is my life. It's all I did. I was never a crafter. I was never like a hunter. All I did was PvP. So it's very, very important to me. And I think that's what's going to make this shard really work, is because UO Forever has everything we need, from PVM to crafting to exploration. And like, I can really focus on the PvP side of things to really make this something unique and perfect. I know I said I'm done with PvP. I do want to mention one thing. Everyone probably is curious about guild wars, and we have a militia system. We don't have factions or guild wars. We have a militia system. Tony, do you want to kind of talk about that really briefly?
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess, Santiago players probably don't know anything about factions anyway. But basically, this is it's a system to really endorse consensual PvP. We'll have events like every 4 hours, between 4 and 6 hours, a rune will spawn on the map that only militia players can pick up, and basically you're supposed to fight for capturing that rune. You'll bring it back to an area that you have to defend, and other guilds will try to attack it on you.
And Tony, I'm on screen right now. I'm at the gruesome capture point. So in addition to Tony's referring to, it's called Ascension. There are capture points on the map that you need to hold to, that you can gain bounty points from. And then let me show you this. So when you capture a rune, this is one of the coolest things. So when you capture a rune, everyone who's in a militia knows, and you can't recall or gate. And what you want to do is you want to bring it back to your sanctum. And so I imagine I have a rune right now, and I could show it to you, but just due to time, I'm not going to go through that whole process. But everyone knows where you have the rune. You can type in a command and pull up the map and see exactly where someone is. You bring the rune to your, what would you call this area, Tony, where they start crafting it?
That is the inner sanctum.
So you bring it to the inner sanctum, and then a NPC called the Sergeant at Arms will start crafting. Channeling the rune, and then you have to defend that Sergeant of Arms. So you can imagine this is going to create some awesome PvP moments where, whether you like it or not, people know where you are and they're coming after you. And you can't recall, you can't gate, you can't fast travel. You're just on your own, just trying to get this rune to the spot, and everyone knows where you are. Let's see if there's any questions so far.
Yeah, I can read off some questions to you at any time too.
I think the next thing I want to talk about, that's kind of it for PvP. Let's see. I'm just interested in PvPing. Will I be able to craft items?
Cheeseburger just said one thing. That one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know the answer to that question. No. So there's no sync drops. So
gold. Like, what do you mean vendor them? What does he mean vendor them with for gold? Like, you can put up vendors. You can craft items, put them. Create craft items, build a house, put a vendor on the house, sell those crafted items. Is that what he means?
I don't know. We'll come back to, maybe he'll clarify a little bit. Yeah. No, there are no sync drops on Overdrive. In Sphere PvP, you don't have sync drops because you can't queue up a spell. There is no sync dropping on that. So it just takes, if you want to kill someone, you better be coordinated with your partner when you're ganking them. Okay, so...
The difference is, I guess, it's probably somebody from like UO Forever, and like, so the difference is you can run, and so since you can also cast while you're running, the ganks, it's they'll be like heal, so you heal each other, like one team will be healing each other as they're running. Say they're on the defense, but like the thing is, like the minute you stop, like you can't stop, so it'll be all like line of sight. Everything depends on line of sight, basically.
So, on this style of PvP, basically, the groups kind of split off into like 1v1s or 1v2s, like depending on your different group size. And sometimes the strategy is to kill the best person. Sometimes it's to kill the worst person and then start ganking the best people. There's different strategies with it, but mainly they split off into people fighting each other 1v1, and until you get to the advantage, and then it's 2v1, and then that person basically is outgunned and can't really do much.
And also recall. Also with your grouping, like you have to know how to kite people, like you have to know, because you're constantly running. There's no stopping while casting, nothing like that, right? Everybody's constantly running, no matter what. So
if you're outnumbered, you're basically just trying to heal yourself and stay alive while your teammates are killing the opposite team.
And using line of sight to your advantage, like brambles, trees. Everything is line of sight. Every tree, it's all line of sight, right?
Yep, every single thing. Okay, so I'm going to move on from PvP for a little bit. I'll answer as many PvP questions as you want later on. But so this is crafting / custom house building. This is something that most Sphere people, they couldn't imagine building something like this on their shard. So crafting, there's thousands of items you can craft, and I'm not going to go into the details about all the different things you can craft. I think a lot of it, I just wouldn't have time to do it. So on my screen, I popped up just some things that you can, a wide variety of things that you can craft and collect. Sphere people love their colored clothing, so we do have that here. It's probably not as outrageous as you're used to. We have some really good pins in our Discord. Mickey he made like the most ugly looking like Sphere outfit I've ever seen in my life. I love him for that. So we have tons of things you can craft here. There are tons of things you can collect, but I think the biggest thing that a crafter will like on Overdrive is their custom house. A custom house is where you can really, show off your goods. So here is just an example. Faye is another staff member of ours, and she put together this custom house as an example of what you could put together. This is extremely extravagant, but I just wanted to kind of show you an example of what it could look like. And if you look at our trailer, I took some video of I took videos of some UO Forever homes. And like when I was working with some of these people, I'm like, hey, can I see your custom house? I was like, oh my God, dude, I cannot believe like this is your home. They're like, yeah, it's pretty nice, isn't it? I'm like, whoa, this is amazing. So everyone, I just want to assure you that you can create like the home of your dream, which is something that you couldn't do on Sphere. And that's kind of my whole pitch on crafting and collecting is you will not be upset about, lack of items to craft or lack of things to do. And that's my crafting pitch. Oh, one thing I forgot to show y'all about what makes Overdrive special is we have this really special setting called fast turn movement. And I just have to show you. This is like, how you came back from UO after not playing for 10 years and you were like, wow, I can play this game in 60 FPS. Well, fast rotation, fast turn movement is pretty much that. It's going to give you that moment again. So let me just show you what it's like. I turned fast movement off. Look at that. That's kind of what you're probably used to if you play, a lot of other shards. Let me turn fast movement on now. It makes it so much more smooth. It makes it so much easier to get around.
So much better.
It is an incredible function that Tony had to. Now, this is not something that Tony like invented. There are other programs that can do this, but we are providing this as for Overdrive players because it's really important. It's especially important for Sphere PvP because you're moving so much. So I just wanted to show you that. I was really excited to show that during the PvP section. I forgot to mention it. So shout out to Tony to making that happen. Okay. Let's see here.
Do you want me to ask some questions? I have all these questions.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Yeah,
Okay,
it's classic UO.
So if I
can just touch on a related question, just a sec here.
Yeah, we answered quite a few of these here already, but
so Browser said, I think. Is it Browser? I think it's Bowser.
Browser or Bowser?
I've been calling him Bowser my entire life, and I think I actually read his name, and it's Browser, I think.
Is it? No way.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because I copied and pasted that.
Oh my.
One of the funniest things you can do on voice chat with someone who plays UO is ask them to pronounce towns, and you're like, wow, that's how you say it?
Yeah.
So Browser's question was, what are the client's limitations compared to Orion client? I personally, I've never used the Orion client, but we don't. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, there are no limitations to the Forever client. Anything that we want to do, we can do. But that does take a little bit of time, and it at the start here, it might feel restricting that we're limiting you just to the Forever client. But in the end, this is going to make everybody have the exact same game experience, and we can change anything that we want to add additional options, like adding that fast turn option. That's just touching the surface of this. I added those visual spell or cooldown notifications, things like that. They don't take very long, and they're extremely powerful for what we can do with the client.
And one thing that I haven't mentioned is all my macros are set in-game in UO. And I know everyone's like, oh, I can't believe you're doing that. Well, it's because Tony optimized it. Tony made it so that it actually you will have the fastest casting speed possible by having it in UO. This is an example of my poison. Don't judge me, I had to use the F keys. So it's cast spell poison, last target. And it is the second you press the key, there is nothing that it instantly casts. It's awesome.
And ultimately, that's what we want, right? Like the third-party program kind of thing, all the assistants and stuff, really does make sense. You kind of just want everything through one program, like the client, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and one example of that is potion use. A lot of the assistants allow you to set a macro to drink a G Hill, for example. However, those assistants basically make sure you have that bag open, and sometimes that'll screw you up, so you can't actually do that. With building the additional function within the client itself, I'm able to send a special packet to the server that says drink a potion, and then the server can search for your potion within your bags, and it's not limited to having your bags open. So just quality of life things like that are going to be amazing.
The next section, I know we have a ton of questions, but maybe they can come up as we talk more about it. I want to talk about something really special to Overdrive. It's called meta talismans. So for all the PVM lovers out here, pay attention to this. So PVM on UO Forever is awesome. It's going to be everything you wanted when it came to PVM. We have great spawns, great custom dungeons, and then we have a great PVM enhancement item called meta talismans. So these are the meta talismans. You have 4 of them currently, and there's going to be a few more coming out. You have Totem of the Berserker, which is going to be for people who enjoy like melee. You have the Idol of the Magi, which is going to be for the mages. You have I can't pronounce this, I call it the Shield Talisman, but it's going to be a defensive talisman that makes it so you can tank while you're doing PVM. And Shane, how would you explain the Rogue Talisman? Is it kind of like one of the highest? I feel like it's like one of the more higher DPS ones.
Yeah, it's more. I'm not. I think we had it deplete at one time, like XP over time, but it's for thieves and stuff like that. So like you can basically run around like stealthing around with a dagger and do tremendous damage. But also a reminder that this only works against mobs, not players, right?
Right. Yeah, this is all for PVM, right?
But yeah, like it's all on our wiki there on UO Forever. So it's using the same kind of concepts, same systems, stuff like that. And yeah, it's Shadow of the Rogue it's all about stealthing around with a dagger, with a poison dagger, basically, and doing like an insane amount of damage. There's some players that run it on UOF and they do amazingly. They're just in the shadows, and it works.
Rooster, the best way is going to be provocation. Like in the beginning, it's going to be provocation. I think an archer bard is the recommended like best bang for your buck type build. I'm going to be putting out a new player guide that kind of explains how to do that. It's actually already on the wiki. There's a new player guide that tells you like that's the recommended build. Yes, 700 skill cap. That's correct. So let me just show you the totem of the Berserker. So when I double click it, you can see there's a leveling system to it. So here it's I've maxed this one out. It's level 10. And then there's these special items you can find called relics. And so you can have 4 relics attached to a talisman. And each of these relics they have a special power, or it's either passive or active. And they just enhance your talisman. These are very, very hard to find. Maybe not very, very hard to find. They are rare to find a relic. So these are enhancement relics to your talismans. And then we have these fun relics, which are called aesthetic relics. And what they do is they do special things, like this one's called Bloody Explosion, and it makes the mob explode when you kill it. So let me just show you an example. So I have the warrior, it's called the Berserker talisman on, and let me just show you some of the special skills it has. So the first thing is it has this thing called phase shift that makes you teleport over to the monster. Here shows you the relic cooldowns for the different types of skills that I use. So I can't use double strike for 10 seconds. I can't use my phase shift. That's what teleported me over for 15 seconds. Primal Scream is on cooldown for 33 seconds. So you have these indicators of how they work. And so that is what talismans do. They're PVM enhancement tools. And that's all I'm going to talk about for talismans today. We have tons of information on our wiki.
So just one of the questions here that I'd answered, Infa had asked, my question about the content, which items will be most difficult to get and most coveted by the player? And to answer that, Tito just went through that. The talisman will be basically, you have to do a quest to get them, and then relics are basically once you fight a boss, you have a chance to get a relic, and they're worth millions. They can be stolen. Basically, if once a boss is finished, if you get one, you need to get out of there as quick as you can. And that end, taming items, anything taming related is always very expensive.
What are the taming items? I know that's one of the, and that's just something I'm not familiar with. I've been so heads down on my thing. What are some of the taming items?
So we one thing to comment on, and this kind of answers another question that was in the chat earlier, asking about crafting add-ons. It doesn't really work like that here. Rather than add-ons, you basically get power scrolls, which let you go up to 105, 110, 115, and 120 of the skill. And that way, you don't lose it when you die, but it's also, required to make the harder stuff. So basically, anything taming related is there's skill scrolls that you can go get to increase your skill by 1 if you get them. So taming skill scrolls are worth a lot, as well as taming power scrolls. And yes, the skill you gain is permanent.
So since we're talking about taming, I want to show you the other coolest PVM system to Overdrive, and it's called the MetaPet system. So I'm just going to show you what it does. Let me grab these first. So the MetaPet system are special bonded pets that gain power as you farm with them, essentially. And you can also add, here's some examples, some relics. You can add relics to them to enhance their skills. So let me just hatch this egg. This is the Meta Dragon egg. So I hatch it, and I have my dragon hatchling. Let me say all stay. Okay, so let me set the levels to it. So this is, what is it? Set level? Set stage, that's right.
So I just dropped 2 scrolls in front of you. One of them levels up your metapet. The other will increase your levels on the relics that the metapet has.
So this is the metastone, and so this is how do I know what experience or relics my pet has? You need this metastone. So what I'm going to do is double click it. I'm going to bond, or not bond it, but I'm going to attach that to my metapet, and you can see it changes color of what my pet is. And so now I can double click it. I can find out the information about the experience and the stages it has. And here's where I can also apply relics. So do I want to apply a relic? Yes, I do. Okay, I'm going to click that one. Oh, it might not be high enough level yet. So let's see here. Okay, so let's level this pet. Can I just set the stage, or will that not?
Yeah, you can do that too, but just double clicking the scroll and then clicking the pet will give you.
Oh, okay. So this is the next stage. This is stage 2. This is stage 3. It's a crocodile or alligator. Stage 4 is going to be a swamp dragon. Stage 5 is going to be a drake. Stage 6 is going to be a dragon. Stage 7 is I think it's called an ancient dragon is the official name. So these are the different levels, the stages that they can be. So let me apply some relics to it. I'm going to apply this relic. I'm going to apply this relic. I'm going to apply this relic. Apply this relic. All right, so now my meta dragon has all these relics attached. And so when I click this, so it says disabled relic. So I'm going to add this relic here. Are you sure you want to do this? Blah, 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 blah. Yes, I want to add that. So I'm adding my relics to the dragon. And let's see if we can do something. Go shame. So you saw it said Militia Dungeon. That is something we can tell you more about that. So here's some special powers that the Meta Dragon just did. You saw that flame breath, and it's pretty awesome. So meta pets are huge on UO Forever. This is one of the biggest things. This is Tony or Shane. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I think most people need meta pets to take on some of the bigger bosses.
What's really interesting about the meta pets factor? I got the idea from Sphere itself from years ago called Evolution Pets. Yeah, Evolution Evo Pets is what it was called. And it was just like, it was the idea. But back on Sphere servers and stuff like that, that I played anyway, they like the Evo pets always like one hit killed people, everything like through PvP. Obviously, it was not like sustainable or whatever, and so it was kind of the idea through that, and it's like meta pets are they're absolutely like a big thing, but it does take basically what meta pets and talisman do is it adds a leveling concept to a non-leveling game, right?
Yeah,
because we work off of 700 soft skill gains, 720 hard skill cap, like a 700 soft skill cap, 720 hard skill cap. And so you can only have that many skills. And then so it's like, what do I do when I'm 7x, 720 skills? What do I do? So then you get into, your talisman, you can get into your meta pet, you can get, and like I said, it adds a leveling feature to a non-leveling game.
So, Showboat asked, "Can this be used in PvP?"
No,
yeah,
none of it. Anytime
they can be used in PvP, but we tone down how much damage they can do in PvP. We don't want people getting one shot in PvP from that.
Yeah, you can attack people with it, but like basically it goes to like a normal dragon or something like that kind of style.
So disregard the cow, the deer. Actually, maybe those are meta pets. Maybe Shane dropped them and I didn't know. So these are the different meta pets that you can have. And some of them follow you around and some of them you can actually ride. And I'm sorry, one of them says Mongbat. So you can ride a horse. You can ride, we call it the reptile. And then you have 4 other different types of meta pets that can follow you around. And this one right here, the mantis is the newest one. And this one is pretty awesome.
The meta cow, yeah.
Yeah, and here's the meta cow and the meta deer. Yeah. Okay, so let me just show you. Everyone loves like the cool dungeons that we know, Shame, Wrong, Destard. I just want to show y'all really quick some of the custom areas that Overdrive has. And so we really try to give you an awesome experience. And so this is called the Abyss. This is a dungeon you can go to anytime. And I think this was the original dungeon, and then they recently added this expansion right here. This is, I don't know the official name for it, but it's like the second floor of the Abyss.
And normally when you walk through this, you won't see all those...
so this you're seeing what the staff sees. Yeah, I should probably turn those off while I'm running through this and showcasing the beautiful work of Faye. If y'all don't know Faye yet, she is an incredible map designer. Oh, man, I'm getting killed too. Maybe I should turn my staff on.
You can...
you gotta bless yourself as a player.
Yeah. There we go. Okay.
I got you.
So, I'm in full now. Okay, so this is the Abyss. Let me take you to the next place. This is the Spring Dungeon, right, Tony? Is that the one that's opening soon?
I think it opened yesterday, actually.
Oh, here we go. Let's see here. Here we go.
Some dungeons you can recall from. Not all of them, though.
So we also have seasonal dungeons. For every season, there is a new dungeon that opens, and this is the Spring Dungeon that just opened. And again, you can see Faye's amazing work. And it's just fun. Like, it's just fun to have a new dungeon that pops up every...
And with that, so every season we have new rares that, always drop. Like, there's always unique cloth, unique hues, hued cloths that you can, create clothing out of. Everything that drops across the dungeons and everything every year. So
I probably should have said this in the very beginning, but everything that UO Forever does synchronizes with Overdrive. So anytime there's an update to a dungeon or to loot or anything like that, it gets pushed to Overdrive simultaneously. So you will always expect something new on the shard. Let's show you the last dungeon. This is the newest dungeon, the Mesozoic Lands. Oh, and you can't be on a mountain in this area. So this is another new dungeon that just came out. Feedback has been great about it. The coolest thing about this area, and this may not be spawned because we're on a test server, so it's not spawned appropriately. But every oh, you can turn it on. Okay, Tony. So the one thing that is great about Tony is when he gets something new, he's not like, hey, let's just put some new mobs in here. He said, hey, let's put some new mobs in here and give them all unique. He goes, let's give them all unique abilities. So when you come into here, everyone kind of does the same thing when they PVM. They kind of just, do whatever. Oh, hey, yo, check this out. They kind of just do the same thing. They kind of, you use provocation, and then you use your animal. Well, that's because you kind of know what to expect. Well, in this area, you won't know what to expect. Every creature has their own special abilities. And this is the boss of this area. So what you do is you kill monsters to collect these meats. And then once you put the meats on the altar, it spawns this boss. And then you take on the boss, which is incredibly hard. Do not expect to be able to take anything on like this solo. You're going to need to have big guilds in order to be successful. So the next thing I want to show y'all is RDAs. So RDAs are random dungeon adventures. This just adds even more to PVM. These are impromptu portals to crazy dimensions where you are fighting a bunch of monsters you've never seen before, and there's a crazy boss at the end. So let me just spawn a couple of these. So they can either spawn. They can.
You want me to do one?
Yeah.
I got one.
They can either spawn. I'm at Britbridge. You can either go. They can either happen when you kill a monster, they spawn randomly, or you have these things called portal fragments that you put 5 together, and then you can spawn your own. Like, look, I'll just double click this one, and I'll spawn.
This is gonna freeze the server for a little bit.
Oh,
right.
Should I wait?
Yeah, it's gotta. Yeah, it's gotta skip. Yeah.
So are you spawning it, or? Oh, okay. Okay. So imagine I double click this and put this on the ground. This is an RDA. So like I said before, this can pop up killing any monster, Shane?
No, they spawn around the world sporadically.
Okay.
And actually on UO Forever, true story, we actually had them spawn sporadic. We actually had locations. I think it was something like 500 and some locations. We had guilds go around and mark almost every location in the end. So we had to do it totally random, sporadically,
So here is a new RDA. It's called the Giants, and so you go in here, and let me maybe Tony or Shane can help me out, but I want to show you. So you go in here, you kill all the monsters in here. And then what it'll do is it'll spawn a boss at the end, and each RDA is the same process. You kill all the creatures, and then a boss spawns. Now, what I'll show you to here is this is something special. This is, and I need to increase my mining. These are special crystals that I can't explain. It's for specially crafted items from something called a workbench. So to create really end game items, you need to mine these crystals, and I'll show you how that's done. So you have to have I believe you have to have 120 mining to do it, and it takes a very long time to do it. Oh, look, it looks like I don't know where the crystals spawn, but It's for the Soul Forge. Thank you. Yes. Sorry, I've been so focused on like making like new player information. A lot of the specific things I'm not too caught up on yet, but that's
All
why.
this stuff, yeah, a lot of this stuff you can get on our wiki.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all Yule Forever stuff, right? So, and that's what's nice about it. You know, you guys are all the Sphere players are kind of getting thrown into the Yule Forever content, and but just the different mechanics. It's nice.
So you can see here, these are some very special rare shards I got from that. So here's the boss, and he has badass, awesome spells. Like, it's not just like he comes over and punches you. This dude is going to be shooting lightning out his ass at you. Like, it is really hard to kill these bosses. And that's something that's going to be a little bit different for everyone, is just bosses in general that are from Sphere.
And RDAs are like where it's why everybody likes RDAs. It's because it's a good place to get relics and stuff like that. Relics are like one of the most. It's somebody asked, I think it was Infa, about what the most sought after items and stuff like that. It's always relics and stuff like that. Those are the high end stuff, and you get that from. You know, there's champion spawns, there's these RDAs that spawn around, but also you can get fragments where you can spawn your own RDAs just for your guild, you know, stuff like that in your own privacy.
So this portal is open. Anyone can come in it. It's not like your own personal dungeon. And so people will be fighting you while you're trying to take these bosses out, and it can be really fun and awesome. Oh, and yeah, this is the boss being killed. And let's see here. And you'll notice something a little different is, so Shane, can you explain what flies around the boss and like what's on the boss? Like, what is that distinction?
All that is just its loot. That unused tile is pretty interesting though.
But would you say the most rare things are on the corpse?
Yeah, it depends. Like it's it's a lot different from Yule Forever, from being on 9+ years, where people are like, I don't need to loot this 500 gold right now. Whereas when you guys start out here, I mean, everybody's gonna be looting everything, so it's kind of like, yeah.
So you can see
everything's rare in a way, I guess, right now, because nothing's out there.
So
and that's the beauty of it, right? Like, what might be rare on Yule Forever might not be rare here, right?
Right.
It's apples to oranges in a way. So I don't know. It depends.
So this boss spawn dropped 2 skill scrolls, increase carpentry by 1, increase peacemaking by 1. The peacemaking, probably isn't as valuable as a carpentry. But so there's skill scrolls and then there's power scrolls.
You also get power scrolls from this.
And Shane, what are these runes, right? Are for crafting, right?
Yeah, it's for the Soul Forge.
That's right. So you have the mining crystals, and then you have these runes that are used to craft special items. I won't show you so maybe I can show you like one more RDA, and then we can move along. Why don't you spawn Demon? I'm back at BB Brit Bridge. Can we do? Let's see here. Is there end stuff thing? Can I do end game stuff solo? I don't know the answer to that question, but I would assume no.
I mean, it depends. There are things that you can do that have rewards that give you end game stuff. Like hunting monster of the week will give you a chance to get these relics as well. And there's various individual goals like that as well. Plus, thieving works, so you can. I mean, that's usually a solo thing, is running around trying to steal from people. But I mean, some of the end game bosses and stuff, they can be done solo, but it's going to take a long time. And if it's anywhere like Yule Forever, people are going to be fighting over those objectives. So you may want to join a guild just for that reason.
I spawned another RDA here, so it might be a little lockup.
I think that's another thing that people aren't going to be used to on Overdrive. You're going to have to join guilds, like, to do a lot of like content. Running solo is probably a very difficult thing to do, just because you need a lot of people to take on like these powerful bosses. Can you talk about how guards work? Yes. So you can go into town as a red or a criminal. It's different than what most people are used to on UO. So on Overdrive, you can only get guard whacked if you do a criminal act while you're in town, right, Tony? Like you can be red in town and hang out. If someone attacks you, you can defend yourself and you won't get guard whacked. But if you initiate the attack as a red or a criminal or a blue, in that case, you will get guard whacked.
Yeah, that's correct. And as a red, others can attack you and you can defend yourself. Sorry, I was reading something else. If you already answered that.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
No, yeah. So the short answer is yes, you can be red in town, but it has a lot of risk. But yeah, you totally can, and I think that's kind of cool. I think that's cool you're able to go in town. This is the Demon RDA. Yeah, it does make it being less restricted. Shane, can you tell them about the bounty system and how, a lot of people...
Shane isn't here.
Oh, Shane's not here? Can you talk about the bounty system, Tony?
You're talking where you turn in heads?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So part of, allowing people to farm is, you can't just have reds running around killing people that don't want to be killed constantly, because that makes people want to quit the game. So there's a little bit of punishment behind that. So if you're a red and you get killed in a dungeon, people can take your head and they can hand it into a guard in Britain. And if you don't try to buy your head back, there are some restrictions to that, but in general, if you don't buy your head back, you have, I believe, 48 hours of skill loss. And so basically that character can't be played for 48 hours.
And a lot of people might have a reaction to that. And I did too when I first heard about it, because I was a PK. That's all I did is I PK'd.
Are you talking about stat loss? Sorry, I just came back here.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so
I could tell you about UO Forever and stat loss. When we first started out, there was no stat loss at all. The only thing that would happen is you'd lose anything blessed, like your spell book, rune books, everything like that. It honestly almost killed us right out of the gate. So yeah, you need some form of at least temporary stat loss, or else basically what happens is new players cannot get off the ground, right?
So, with that, I would think a lot of people that are here for PvP are going to be in militias. And with militias, you can attack anybody at any time, in town, out of town. It's there to support consensual PvP.
Yeah, you got to remember, this is killing blues. We didn't show the militia system, but most people you interact with that are PvPing are going to be orange to you, and you're not going to have stat loss and all that when you fight them. I think it's safe to say... Oh, go ahead, Shane.
No, never mind. Sorry.
It may sound bad, but it probably won't be as... it won't be what you think. Like I said in the very beginning, just be open to some things that are a little bit different and just see how it works. You have to have blue people to kill, or else, you have to have things to help out the blue people, or else they may not want to stay. They may not find value in getting PK'd without, any protection whatsoever. And so if the blues leave, then who are you going to kill? So just be open to it. I understand why you would maybe think something like that. Okay. The last thing that I want to showcase is really quickly just the Navy aspect. And I'm not going to go into a deep thing, and I'm literally just going to show you one thing that's really cool about it. Okay, so here's Navy. Navy is cool because I've never seen boats with cannons on them before. So what you can do is you can actually load cannons and fire them upon other vessels. And you can use grappling hooks to go onto those vessels, and you can repair your ships at the same time. It's very complicated. There's people on UO Forever who specialize in like Navy and things like that. So let me just show you what it looks like. So I'm going to load my cannons with these cannonballs. So I'm loading them up. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to load these up. I'm going to say fire right. I'm going to fire my cannons at the boat. I'm going to say turn around. And I'm going to say fire left. I'm going to fire my cannons on the boat. I don't know a ton about this. All I know is this is awesome. So this is something that I think that people are really going to love. Hey, Tony, what's the command to see the ships around you? Do you know?
Search the horizons, I think?
Search the horizons. Okay, check this out.
Or scan the horizons.
Scan the horizons. So look at this. This is a boat. This red dot right here tells me there's a vessel nearby. So you can actually like scan and see where people are. And when I was talking about with militia systems, you can type a similar command and you'll see a red dot on the map and know exactly where a person is with that rune. And then you can see right here, there's some loot that you can get. You can actually loot people after you've sunk them. And we got the booty. And that is my naval pitch to you all. I think it's really cool. I haven't gotten into it a lot, but the idea that I can fire my cannons upon someone is just like too cool. Okay, so let's go to some questions that were AFK macroing. Yeah, you can AFK macro except for specific things. It's listed on our rule page. I would say the biggest thing is resource gathering. You can't resource gathering AFK. You can. So Tony, correct me if I'm wrong. You can run a script but you have to be there, and you can't be AFK while running it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. We will be having a CAPTCHA preventing you from doing it AFK.
Let's see some other questions. I'm just rolling through them.
But that's only resource gathering. The majority of skills, with exception to taming, can be done AFK.
Taming can't be done AFK?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have the full rules up here in the next week here.
So all the rules are actually linked in the Discord. I updated our welcome page with pretty specific stuff. We follow UO Forever's rules. So that is, I link to the UO Forever page. Also, let me pull this up. Let me just show you a few things. I was going to show you our wiki. So we share the same wiki as UO Forever, but the thing is it has an Overdrive specific page, but if there's a change for Overdrive, it'll be noted at the bottom of the wiki of the article. Like for example, alchemy. The alchemy page is the same as UO Forever, but at the very bottom I talk about invis potions and I talk about mana potions. So you follow the wiki as is, but if there is a change that's a difference between Overdrive and UO Forever, it'll be noted at the bottom. Our launcher is going to be UO Forever. So you download the UO Forever launcher, you click play, and then you enter your account name and password, and then you'll come to a server selection page, and that's where you select Overdrive to log in and play that. So we're all connected. We use the same infrastructure. We use the same code. Everything is connected. I'm just looking through some questions that were asked before. Someone asked if there's going to be a stun punch. No, I'm not doing a stun punch. I think it's broken for Sphere. I understand why it's needed for precast, but for Sphere, I just don't. I think it'll be too powerful. I may consider bringing it back, but I think the paralyzed spear move is going to be enough for if people really want that stun type function.
I think I think that's what we're going for is just the constant, no stopping at all, just fight, and using your, trying to get out of the line of sight. Everything's line of sight, right?
Yeah, everything's line of sight. So someone asked what kind of armor would be used. Usually on Sphere, people are using plate mail, but that could change. The stuff, items and everything weigh a lot here, so you may not be able to carry as much as you're used to while on other shards. So you may see more leather armor while PvPing on this shard. You also will be having to weigh the cost of wearing armor, plate mail, and having that low capacity, that weight capacity versus having high armor for melee attacks. So it's one of those things that we're still kind of working through. But most people would be wearing plate mail, I would assume, in the beginning until a meta is formed or things change. Inscription is going to be really powerful on the server because when you have GM Inscription, you can have 2 magic reflections. So when you cast magic reflection, you get two hits of it essentially. And I understand that's super powerful. I'm going to monitor that really closely, and I have a few ideas to balance it. I like having that double reflect because I think it adds a lot to the inscription skill, but I understand there needs to be a counter to it, or there needs to be some balancing towards it. And so please don't freak out when you see it for the first time. Yeah, so how does it balance UOF PVM being able to move and cast? So, I'll let Tony answer that. He's actually writing an answer, so I'll let him answer that.
Yeah, so I just said there isn't anything preventing that on precast either. You can, preload a energy bolt or whatever you want as damage, and then run on screen and attack.
I mean, monsters don't move that fast. Like I can see you kiting a monster pretty easily, even if you have to precast.
Yeah, I mean, mages can do that for sure. That's part of it. But for bosses and things like that, there's additional mechanics to make that harder. But that's something we're gonna have to monitor as well and check to see, if it's too easy, then we can modify some stuff with that. Everything with the server, nothing's set in stone. I mean, we want to honor the spirit of Sphere PvP, so we're obviously going to be doing that. But as we need to make adjustments to make all this content come together, we're going to be doing that.
Yeah, and it'll be evolving. So Overdrive 6 months from now will probably have a lot of improvements based on feedback and just us continuing development. There's a lot of questions about what is the accounts, how many houses can we have, questions about macroing. It's all on our rules page, but I'll just say that you can have 3 accounts per IP. You can have 1 house per account, and Tony can correct me if I'm wrong. We've gone over the resource gathering. You can do it. You just can't be AFK while you do it. People ask a lot about templates. I won't go into that right now. To give you my initial thoughts, I think there's going to be 2 templates when it comes to PvP. I think there's going to be a pure mage, and then I think there's going to be a hybrid. I think that you're never going to be a pure Dexer, in my opinion, on Overdrive. It's possible. I don't see the vision right now. I would love to have a pure Dexer build on here, but and I don't want to speak I don't want to be so concrete about things. It's just when you can move while cast, it's such an advantage. It's hard to figure out how to make a pure melee character. And I've been thinking about this for 6 months. And the best I've figured out is more of a hybrid. I think you'll find the hybrid role really, really fun.
And that's kind of what you want to do down the road too. You don't just want one template, and that's kind of why Euro Renaissance kind of style always took off, because there were so many different templates. And I think with this, we can go beyond that even and have a ton of templates. We just have to make sure we balance them all off. Somebody just said, is there much of a penalty for wearing plate mail in Mage PvP? And how it works on UO Forever is you can wear plate mail as a mage, but you cannot meditate. And your passive meditation is very slow. So basically, you cannot wear, like, it negates the whole fax. Like, so only mages only wear like leather. Like, you can't even wear barbed, I guess. So leather armor, and that's it. But we have additions, we have horned leather, spined leather, stuff like that.
Do you prevent forced hitting gating? It takes a few seconds for you to go through a gate, so it's not like when you go over a gate, you just like pop right into it. It takes a few seconds for it to hit, which I think will disappoint some people because they want to do gate traps. Yeah, and there's going to be some crafty people out there. Now, I want to go back to templates just really quickly. I'm only one person. I have my idea of things. And once other people start playing and I see how people are using skills, I can when I can see those ideas, I can really take those and think about how we can implement things better. And I'm really good about taking feedback and talking with people and really figuring out how we can make things work. So I hope my comment about you can't be a pure melee build on here discourages you from trying, because I promise you, that is something I really want. I think I need some help figuring that out. I'm just scanning through some questions now. What's the best process to provide feedback? Just DM me. Talk with me. I'm your point of contact for Overdrive. You can message Tony. You can message anyone, obviously. But I would say if you
definitely message Tito on that one.
Yeah,
from Overdrive. Yeah,
reach out to me about Overdrive questions, because I can either tell you the answer or get you to the right person.
We will be adding more staff to the Overdrive, server and stuff like that too. So
I think that might be how will fields work, just like we're used to on Sphere. I think that might... someone has a question about VPN.
Is that in chat or was that...
It's on the document. They're asking about VPN restrictions on our server.
Yeah, so if you're connecting directly from a VPN, there are some restrictions. That's just to protect the server. Because obviously people can be making accounts all day, and it opens up a whole bunch of cans of worms that we don't want to deal with. So if you're using a VPN to protect your identity or whatever, or to get better ping, you can do that, but you will be restricted for a certain amount of time. It's not going to be a long amount of time. You just need to keep playing. Your interactions with other players will be restricted. Like, you won't be able to trade. You won't be able to give them items. They'll be able to give you items. So just things like that, again, to prevent people from making 1,000 counts and, handing off that 500 gold each time. So once you've played long enough, those restrictions are lifted. That's the answer to that question. Also, we were asked, where's the server located? It's in New York. I think that's the best place right now to serve our vast population from Europe. What's the hardware like? We're using an Intel Xenon quad-core professional grade server, an M.2 hard drives for fast read-write access. UO Forever was using the same hardware, and we haven't had any issues with performance, so we'll keep that up. The only thing new is using the New York host. That's hopefully that works good. If not, we can worry about that down the line here.
One of the questions that Kay Becker just asked are those dot commands. I think that was always used on Sphere. Those won't be available, as far as I know.
A lot of the
But you can do it like bracket. What is it? Bracket emote. and it brings up. So if you do it right now on your screen there, Tito,
Here we go.
do bracket emote. Yeah, bracket E. So it brings up, all the emotes, stuff like that. So instead of dot, RunUO uses bracket, like that bracket, right? So all the commands are ran through that, like the bracket command kind of thing. You do bracket help as well, and it'll tell you everything you can do when you log in.
There's no global communication in game. You can talk within your guild, you can talk within your alliance, but there's no easy way to communicate with all players in the game.
Yeah.
And the real reason is, and I'm, kind of just speaking for myself, it's because Discord is available. Most people talk in Discord, up from trading to just being part of the community. If you're not in the Overdrive Discord, it's in our bio. I would highly recommend you join that. So launch day is this. Wait, hold on. I have to make sure I'm saying this right. No, someone else say it so I don't say it wrong.
This Saturday.
March 12th, Saturday, at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And launch day, Shane, can you talk about, events or things that they have to look forward to?
We'll do a handout on launch day. We'll do some events. We'll just guide people a little bit. We'll help people as staff a little bit. We'll be there, yeah, it's more of a celebration, right? You're launching something. It should be a good, positive thing. It's great. And it'll be fun.
You'll definitely want to be there for the giveaway item. Those only come around once, especially for launch day. And
and with that said, like
kids about this,
you're allowed to have 3 accounts, right? 3 accounts each per household per IP. Is how we work. So, and why that is because I think only one house should have one account, but there are definitely people out there that they have their, I don't know, living with their girlfriend or their wife or their whatever boyfriend, and they're, I don't know, I've even said kid. I don't know. It's like at the point, it's like, is your dog playing too? I don't know. But no, honestly, it's people always ask. Like I get it all the time that they want more than 3 accounts, and I'm like, how many people do you have in your house? They're like 2, and I'm like, well, that's 2 people between 3 accounts already. I'm like, that's why we give 3 accounts. So. But yeah, three accounts per household per IP.
And just for all the questions that weren't answered here, we'll release this document with all your questions on it and have answers to them.
Yeah, there's like 80 questions or something like that. So.
Yeah.
So, again, between now and launch, we have, if I would, again, strongly recommend you watch the PvP introduction videos. It really goes in deep dive in how it works. It might be a little outdated because of what the changes we made since it's been created. However, the content is still good. It'll give you a really good idea of where to get started. Also, I am creating some very, very, very beginner UO videos. Like you could hand this off to anyone who has never played UO before, and they will understand what they're doing. At least to get started. So it starts from downloading, installing UO to what do all the gumps mean to what are all the basic core mechanics to UO, all the way up to building your first character and guiding them through basically until you can go to a dungeon on your own. So if there's someone who you think might be interested in UO, I can understand how UO is a very complicated game. This will give them the resources that are really hard to find to get them started so you can play UO together.
Yeah, and ultimately, I think it's just going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun, man. And that's what we're all going for here. We're all going for, getting off work. Everybody's tired of shit. You just want to come home and have some fun. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's make that happen.
And I wish I could show you everything that Overdrive had to offer today. It's just really hard to show you everything in a shard that has 9 years of development in it in an hour and a half. So this is just scratching the surface of Overdrive. I really gave you a very brief preview of the facets of the game. I think that might be it.
Yeah,
I mean, feel free to join the Discord and ask any questions in there. I've posted a link to our YouTube. We've got Tedo's done an amazing job on creating these videos on there. Just blow me away every time I see them here. So,
well, thank you, Johnny. Okay, well, everyone, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for all the questions. And please, join Discord if you have any additional questions. I'd be happy to answer them. And I look forward to seeing everyone on launch day. It's going to be really fun. We're all going to, for a lot of Sphere people, this is going to feel like playing UO for the first time again, because there's going to be so many new mechanics and everything. You're going to have so much fun. So tell all your friends. Tell anyone who used to play Sphere to come check this out. It's going to bring back that nostalgia and love that they had before. So thank you again, everyone. I'm going to sign off, and I'll see you on the 12th.